eat what the widow had, then give flour? What kind of God gives flour and oil to a starving child? Would you feed your kids flour and oil? Don't you see the fallen angels game? A child starving, so give them flour and oil? Really? Can't you see, brothers, the fallen angels' plan? So, brothers, it's just another cheap imitation. What was hidden is now being revealed. 90% of the Old Testament is demons' work, setting up confusion for the Messiah's arrival. Didn't Moses himself say it? He said, kill anyone claiming to be God's son. And his people did kill. The fallen angels set it all up, brothers. Now, the New Testament is the opposite. People already say 90% of the New Testament is false. But that's normal. It's all part of the plan. Now listen up, my brothers. God gave you brains to think. Don't let anyone fool you, brothers. I'm telling you, I know my stuff. Most of the Old Testament is demonic. David, a demon. Solomon, fallen angel demon. Elijah's a demon, the false prophet. Elisha, another demon. Abraham, fallen angel, demon. Isaac and Jacob, fallen demons. They're all fallen angels, demons. They crafted the Old Testament to deceive all people and nations. God gave the commandments to warn us. The devil changed everything, killed all. He twisted the law to kill everyone. Isn't that against the commandments? Love your father and neighbor. Love means no killing or stealing. Yet Abraham killed and robbed neighbors. Isaac, Jacob, Elijah, Elisha, get out. They tried to act all saintly, you know, brothers. Every fallen angel, they're very clever. They put on a saintly act like Abraham. Look, he seems so good. Devil, my brothers. It's not 50-50 with God. Who says that is lukewarm, a pig? So I ask you, I'm telling you, you who know truth, died and reborn, has anyone told you this? No, right, my brothers? Once reborn, you're sinless, your spirit. You know the Father, your spirit sinless. Who can say you've sinned? Who can accuse you after rebirth? Who can accuse you? When reborn, Father forgets your past. You were in the world of the world, unaware of the truth. Now, knowing truth reborn, you're like a pure child to our Father, perfect. Our Father doesn't care about your past actions. He's not interested in that. Knowing truth, Father, Messiah, believing and loving them and others, you're reborn sinless. What you did in the past, our Father doesn't even want to know. Or do you think our Father's a tyrant saying, oh, you did that in the past. Oh, you did that. Oh, you did that. Like this cursed religious system in spiritual brothels and bars. They take 10% to give to crooked pastors buying planes and mansions worldwide. Yet they ignore kids without shoes, widows begging, preferring this damned system. I tell you, once you hear the truth, you can't claim innocence. The Messiah warned, look, I sent prophets then, the Father sent prophets. If they hadn't heard the prophets, they'd have countless excuses. No one saw, no one warned us. But he did send warnings. Then the Messiah came. He said clearly, if I hadn't come to warn you in this wretched land, you'd have excuses on Judgment Day. Who would have known? No one came to warn. But now there's no excuse. In the Messiah's generation, there's no more excuse, because he came and warned. Then the Messiah sent the apostles. People might say, how was I to know? He sent apostles. Now he's sending 2 witnesses, the 144,000 sealed ones. There's no excuse. He sent to the 4 corners of the earth. All lands were warned about the truth. The truth has reached even the ends of the earth. It's everywhere now. So let's return to our topic, my brothers. 90% of the Old Testament is just a cheap imitation of the New. You can't mix the new wine, word, and bread with the old. Moses' bread with the Messiah's. You can't mix them. Moses' bread, Moses himself, is the devil. And the Messiah, you know who the Messiah is. He came to warn us. Just as the Messiah became human on earth, so did the devil Moses. He wrote his book, the Torah, full of deception. The Talmud too, mixed with Islam. It's all jumbled together. These books, my brothers, were written by demons. Moses is the demon. Moses is the devil himself. And then his fallen angels. They prepared all of this. The Old Testament is a cheap copy of the New. Notice the difference. The 24 elders who came before were here to warn us, but their books have vanished, just like Philip's books from the New Testament disappeared. There are 12 apostles. Where are all his books? They wrote letters. Where? They're gone, brothers. He vanished from the elders too. But fallen angels were clever. They put bits in the Old Testament to make it not entirely evil. They mixed some truth with mostly lies. 10% truth, 90% lies. The New Testament is about Jesus and the apostles. It's reversed. 90% truth, 10% lies. But hypocrites will call the New Testament false, denying the Messiah's coming. Be careful in these last days, brothers. Very careful. Things will get complicated from now on. The Old Testament's a cheap New Testament copy. Note this again to open your minds. If you don't understand, listen. Messiah and his angels, the 2 witnesses, the 144,000 sealed. Got it? They fought against the devil and his angels. Moses the devil, Elisha the false prophet, who is and the apocalypse beast, Enoch, now fallen as Azazel, as I told you, Ishmael, Elijah, and their angels. Brothers, there are 500 million angels. 500 million. Just an example. 500 million. That's why Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Old Testament folks worship the devil. Fallen angels following demons. It's them, my brothers. The Old Testament, 90% written by demons. Again, the Old Testament, 90% written by demons, fallen angels, killers who came to destroy. And it goes on. And it goes on. Today, these evangelical pastors, most big leaders who are multimillionaires or billionaires, are fallen angels. They're fallen angels, that's what they are. No fallen angel wants to come to earth to be poor. They come to be rich. But look at the opposite. Just look at this. Old Testament, the fallen angels. Moses came rich. People served them. Our Messiah is different. I serve, not be served. You see the difference, my brothers? The Old Testament. Everyone served the false prophets of the Old Testament. They gave money, supported them. The new one, the Messiah, took nothing. Even Paul said, if you don't work, you don't eat. I work with my own hands. See the difference, my brothers. When you read the Old Testament, you'll see 90% was written by demons. They added some truths to the Old Testament to avoid it being 100% demonic. So they took the words of our brothers, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Adam. Adam's first, then Jeremiah, Isaiah, and lastly John the Baptist, the final prophet. And the other 20, they vanished, my brothers. It's hard to tell who's who with so many fallen angels around. Reading the Old Testament, it's like this from start to finish. The devil, Moses, and fallen angels throughout the whole thing. Then the Messiah comes to put an end to all that. The Messiah arrives and says, now follow Moses and his angels, or follow me and mine. Got it? In short, demons wrote 90% of the Old Testament. They added some prophets, 10% truth, to avoid being fully demonic. The New Testament, though, 90% of it is truth, my brothers. They mixed in some stuff to confuse folks, mainly about money and exploitation. So, brothers, we need to be very careful, extremely careful. For those watching, I'll list the new channels at the end. Many brothers are creating excellent content. I'll add the channel names at the end for you to check out. Visit these channels, brothers. They're sharing interesting things. Subscribe as we're family, supporting each other. Don't forget we're family, helping one another. I'm also asking all video creators to read David's Psalms. Brothers, start making videos on the Old Testament, reading it part by part to expose the fallen angels. Many in churches think these men are from God, but they're demons, fallen angels. I'll ask brothers to read David's Psalms, Moses' books, Torah, Old Testament, and Solomon's writings. Let's sift through this, my brothers. I ask all brothers to help make and spread these videos everywhere, to wake people up. Each passing day, brothers, is one less. We must be concerned about this. When it reaches 1,335 days, it's over. You'll have nothing left to do. It's time to leave. You've done what you needed to do. Stay calm, brothers. New members, I know when you learn the truth, you want to tell everyone. But the world isn't ready for this, my brothers. And the world, 90 to 95% of it, doesn't want the truth. So, brothers, when you're sharing truth and it causes a stir, find a way out. Watch for those truly interested. Most just want to argue. Avoid this, my brothers. When you see an argument brewing, find an excuse to leave. Say, oh, I have to go, and exit. Notice those genuinely interested in the truth.